think her rules are actually pretty good. Do you want to know what they are? Does anyone know what they are? I don't feel like you know what they are. What's rule number 1?
I don't know the rule number 1, but I know
Okay, tell me
one
one.
of the things that she says is, if you're under him, you won't get over him.
Yeah, that's the best one. Okay, here's the rule. Here's the rule she says. She says, don't pick up the phone. He's only calling because he's drunk and alone. Rule number 1. 2, don't be his friend. You only have to kick him out again. And 3, the most important rule, if you get under him, you ain't getting over him. Very interesting rules. But there is a lot of truth to those rules. And if you've ever had sex with someone, it's very bonding to have sex with someone. It's very impactful on your spirit. If you look at your life, people you kiss, you made out with, you probably don't remember that much. But I would bet you pretty much remember everyone you had intercourse with. Is that true? Do you guys agree? We remember, right? Because there's a psychic bond that happens. You don't remember? Oh, sorry. I really shouldn't point people out. All right. So that was a pretty good build-up, James, but please, just tell me what the 3 rules are. First rule, monogamy. Monogamy. Monogamy sexually and socially. Now, mind you, here's the thing I'm looking for. And I gave him a very good bio and he didn't read any of it. I'm a dating relationship coach. What I'm looking for is agreements. I'm looking for agreements. When you're dating someone, all I want to know are what are the agreements. First agreement I'm looking for is, do you guys want to be monogamous? And it's okay if you don't. There's many people who want to date multiple people. And as long as you both agree, I'm down. I'm not a moralist. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I say as long as you both agree on it, we have a deal. But monogamy in 2 ways. Monogamy sexually and also socially. Because we live in an era where it is very easy to portray yourself as socially single. You can have a relationship and then be on Tinder every week with swiping how many times? Right? All I'm asking for. And that could be cool too if you both agree to it. I'll swipe if you'll swipe. I'm okay. All I'm looking for is agreement. First agreement I would say to you, if you really want to be with somebody, is agree on monogamy. And most people, when you first meet them, they're okay with that. It's not too hard to get that, because they're all infatuated with you. They think sex with you is the most amazing thing ever. They're pretty much down. But there are those who are more cunning, who go, that was nothing, I'll go get 5 more. First rule, monogamy, sexually, socially. Do you want to know the second one?
Yeah.
Yes. Are you interested? Sure. All right, the second one, you got monogamy down. The second one is called continuity. By continuity, I mean, how often are you going to see each other? Everybody is different. There are people who think a relationship is about being together every day, and there are people who think once a week would be just fine. We're all different. But again, what am I looking for? I'm looking for an agreement. And usually agreements take some what we call negotiation. Because we're not going to find someone who perfectly matches us. That would be, well, duplicity. You just be yourself. But we need to negotiate. But I would say this, if you're starting out with somebody at least once a week, if they can't figure out how to see you once a week, that's just not going to be enough continuity to build anything. And then, like I said, some people a couple times, some people 2 or 3, so you guys got to agree on the deal. And again, it's all about agreement. 2, 3, 1, 2, whatever you want to do, just make the agreement. What do you think the last one, the third one is? I've given you 2. What's the last third one? What could possibly go wrong? You've already given us. Honesty is not an agreement, but it's an interesting concept, and it does apply. Anyone want to get? Anyone ever made an agreement with anybody? Okay, I'll tell you. Never mind. Damn. How about this one? Longevity. Now, I have a lot of clients. They got monogamy. They got continuity. They both agree to that. That was pretty easy. You know the one that's always missing, where I make the most money? Longevity. You know why? Because there is no plan for the future. We're living in the moment. That's very spiritual. But if you ever want to see your kids living in the moment, ain't gonna make it happen. Won't happen. Longevity means we both agree, we both have the same vision for the future. We both have to agree on that, and that is the most important ingredient. Because what do you think is the biggest, and I kind of gave you a towel on it, what do you think is the biggest deal breaker between two people, especially when they're younger, as far as longevity? No one wants to give. Whether or not you want to have children. And this is a real deal because it's time sensitive. You cannot bullshit on this deal. You cannot think, oh, you know what, we'll just not talk about it and you know, it'll work out. No, it won't. And you have to love yourself enough to require that, if that's what you want in your life. And the biggest thing you need to know what you want. And if it's your goal in your life to have children, then it's got to be on the table right away. And guess when? Before sex. Because after sex, your mind goes blind and you can't see anything. But before sex, you're a little more objective. You say, hey, look, I really like you. I think, you know, we get along good together. However, I've made a commitment to myself. I'm not going to have casual sex. If you want to be with me, I'm looking for someone who wants to be long-term, with the possibility of marriage and children. Because there's no guarantees, but the possibility that we're both aiming in the same direction. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah.
And it's the hardest thing to ask for, because we just, it's like how can I ask for this thing? But you gotta ask for it. And I'm telling you now, you deserve it. Not only do you have to ask for it, but you deserve it. And you're worth it. Totally worth it. But there has to be agreements. And my teacher used to say this to me, and I think it's very important. Think about this. The only way that you know that you love yourself or anyone else is by the commitments you're willing to make and keep. That is the whole deal. If you ask me what love is the ability to make agreements and keep them. And that's all I'm looking for. And for me, it starts out simple. And the reason I married my wife is because she kept every agreement. From day one. Oh, call you on Tuesday. Picked up the phone. Oh my God, nobody does that. She lived in Taiwan. We had to negotiate. How are you going to come stay here, live here? Oh, okay. I got to go visit that. I had to go meet her dad. Hey, Dad, you know, I want to marry your daughter. That was intense. Nobody does that anymore. But I tell you what, it really works. It really works. Because when as a guy, if you have to ask a father to marry a daughter, it's a whole nother conversation. It's a whole nother conversation. And what I'm saying to you is those agreements, if you can just get them one step at a time, to me, the definition of a relationship, one, it's a conversation that doesn't end. You have to keep renegotiating. Even people tell me, oh, I'm married. I don't need any advice. I'm like, marriage is the hardest thing to do. And you have to keep renegotiating the deal. Because there always has to be a purpose, something you're aiming for. And a lot of times when you're younger, it's children, but you have to keep renegotiating. And you got to, again, make another agreement. So your agreement's only good for 6 months to a year. Then you got to renegotiate. Say, oh, I want to see you 2 or 3 times a week. Now I want to see you 3 or 4. And the other thing I would say with that is, relationship has to have momentum. It can't just be like, okay, let's see each other once a week forever. There needs to be a sense of momentum. You have to be building something. And that's what life is. It's either you're growing or you're decaying. And you make that choice every day. So I would say to you, what are the agreements? Monogamy, continuity, and most importantly, longevity. And if you can get somebody who wants on the same page with you, that wants those 3 things, you have the building blocks for an amazing future. And I encourage you, And someone asked me, they said, hey, you know, I already had sex, what do I do now? It's too late. No, it's not too late. You know how you do it? If you're a woman, go like this. Like this. Then you say, hey, look, I made a mistake. You know what? When I first met you, I didn't really tell you that, you know, my goal, my vision, I want to be with someone who wants to be monogamous. I want to be with someone who wants to see me regularly. And my real vision, ever since I was a little girl, I want to see my children. My long-range vision is to be married and have children. And here's the magic words, and the last words I'll leave you with you. Here's what you ask them. You tell them that whole story, and you ask them this very simple question. What do you think? And you listen very closely. Because we have to make agreements with each other. And everybody has the right to be, feel, think, and share their way. Everyone does. So all I'm asking you is keep those agreements in mind and see if you can find someone who wants to make those agreements with you.